What's up, y'all? Back with another video, this time on the Holy Priest, doing a little solo shuffle for the first time in a while. I think this is around 1900 MMR, which is pretty low for a solo shuffle, but I did want to test and see how the buffs felt in solo shuffle. I did intend for this to be a Holy Paladin video, but the queues were just not there when we queued 2v2 earlier, and we didn't have a chance to queue any 3v3 this week. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try the solo shuffle, and it went decently well. But stick around to the end and you're going to see why the matchmaking is so bad for solo shuffle in healers. So this first match was interesting. So it's warrior, warlock, and I'm healing a survival hunter and a ret paladin. I'm getting kind of a feel for the match, like who can hit their buttons, who can't hit their buttons. Like you never really know in the opener, like if anybody's going to use anything. I went for a fear there on the monk and it was bad. I think he had just revivaled or something, so that was really bad on my part because I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. I do get Holy Lock, so I don't have Omnibar or Gladius turned on for any of these because I didn't think I was going to make a video out of this. I was really just testing to see how Holy was doing. Right here, I'm just trying to kind of catch up, and this is good because he's actually pulling back and pulling the warrior back. Now the hunter's like way over there, and I lay the angelic feather. I'm trying to go over there as quick as I can. We do have void swap still available, and I get end capped here. And the hunter stunning him there on that end cap to where he can't do a CC chain was huge. Like that was so good on the hunter's part there. Like really good. Paladin was over there casting heals in the corner. I don't know how I feel about that. It was kind of okay. And we start getting a little bit more tempo here. I start noticing that I'm losing the mana battle, but I do still have pretty much all my mana cooldowns, including Psyfiend, or Shadow Fiend. And I also have Symbol of Hope, which I go ahead and use here since I know the Warlock doesn't have a kick. So I get back a little bit of mana there. And I have a feeling like we're going to end up like taking this into really heavy dampening. And so I'm kind of watching for the spirit form to pop back up. We do have Guardian available and we get the kill right here. So that ended up being okay. And this next round is with the Warlock and the Hunter. I had a feeling that they were going to go me on this one. So I swapped Ray of Hope for Divine Ascension because it's just really good if the melee end up going me and they're like just going to train me like it's a 1 minute cooldown that it almost beats every melee cooldown. So it's really strong, and if I didn't have it here I was going to regret it, so I swapped it out. And gates are opening. We're going to see what we do. I'm kind of just holding back because I don't want to get separated from this Warlock. I think they're, you know, they could easily focus him or swap to him. Hunter's going in, trying to get stuff up. This Hunter actually played pretty well, especially for survival. Like I didn't mind the way he was playing and kiting and just throwing out kill shots and stuff. So, you know, and he didn't do anything stupid like charge in there without us, which was also good. So I think right here they're gonna go for me, and I was really happy. Now they pop everything here, so I do go ahead and Guardian, and honestly I wasn't respecting their cooldowns enough. I used Healthstone here, then I fly up in the air, and it's okay in solo shuffle to overlap some of your cooldowns because I mean they popped everything. That was Wings, it was Spear of Bastion, they were going in for the kill. So it was okay for me to overlap some stuff there. I did Chastise. I was hoping he would trap off that, but then he swaps to the Monk. So that was kind of interesting. And then the Warrior's still going for me. Now, I still have the Guardian, like the Spirit form. So if they do decide to swap back to me, that's kind of like my out in that scenario. So here's the Hodge. I trinketed it because I thought they were going to swap to me instantly. That ends up being like a really bad trinket. And I started to fall behind a little bit. Hopefully I dispel our lock. There we go. I dispelled the Warlock. And the Warlock does start to get a little bit more pressure. I'm Mind Games on the Warrior. He casts Reflect really late, and I'm just starting to try and do damage because the Monk is falling behind. And we've like completely stabilized at this point. I do summon Shadow Fiend, and I'm going for the Symbol of Hope because there's no one around me to kick me. It's a really important cooldown that restores, 15% of my mana. I dispel him there. That grip was bad. I didn't realize he was rooted. They're going for the kill on the hunter, and I go into spirit form just so I can conserve some mana here. So I'm just trying to keep everybody topped, because the higher the damaging gets, well, and you see in that scenario right there, it's really hard to pick people up without just burning all your mana whenever you get past like 40% damaging. So we're 2-0, and now it's the hunter and the warrior, and at this point I didn't know whether it was like if I was going to go 6-0 or whether the hunter was the reason we were winning. I wasn't sure at this point, so I was like, oh, this looks like it could be a good round, and I knew this one was going to be the determining one. Even though the warrior had the highest rating out of anybody in the solo shuffle, it felt like he was the most difficult to heal for some reason. I don't know why. It didn't feel like his pressure like matched anything. Right here, we can either kill the paladin or the warlock. I think either one of them are kill targets for this. He does go on the warlock, which I'm fine with. Locking down an affliction warlock is pretty good. I didn't like the spear of bastion there. That was pretty questionable. I was hoping they would just open with normal stuff. The ret paladin did bop the affliction warlock, so again, makes it much better. I give him power infusion, and I get hodged, and it looks like he's gonna open up with his big damage here in just a second. Well, I say that and he didn't. We're still going warlock. Right here's the monk ports and he immunes my fear, so that was really unfortunate. I was like just a half second too slow. Right here I fly up in the air because I was trying to dodge any kind of CC because the ret paladin was running at me, and warrior's jumping back. He's just pulling out of there. He doesn't want to get caught, like kind of how the hunter is getting caught. I do use Guardian here, and I thought they were going to kill him through Guardian, but it ended up being okay. So this is like the nightmare scenario where they actually are just doing damage to everybody. Luckily, the hunter pulls back. He realizes that, pulls back. I get interrupted and hodged. So again, I was like, oh no, this is going really poorly here. And I was wishing I had Ray of Hope at this particular moment, but for some reason I was able to stabilize. I don't know what was going on with that. And once I stabilize, I realized like we're completely okay because I've still got the Guardian Spirit form, so they can't really kill me, which is what the Warlock's trying to do here. So I just go Guardian, and I'm like, I'm gonna top everybody. We have Spear back up, and we just have all the pressure, and we're also winning the mana battle. The Master Spell was super slow because of that Curse of Tongues in the Guardian form, which I didn't even know about that interaction, that it slowed your cast by that much. I do grip him back because I was a little scared, and I'm going to use the Power Word Life to save me, and then I know I can top him when I flew in the air. The warrior's still up there. We still have Life Swap, which I do decide to use here, and we have Guardian up. So even though it looks really scary, we still have a lot. Like, I've still got Guardian. I'm going to Symbol of Hope here. And you can see that we're winning the mana battle on this one. So this was a real, like, as far as solo shuffles go, this was a really long solo shuffle. I was shocked with like how many times it was just a battle of who could conserve their mana more. So right here I was really worried about them killing the warrior, so I decided to use Guardian, but it was kind of an overreaction. He was actually fine, but ended up being okay. So we got the 3-0, and I felt like this one was going to be the hardest to win. Like I felt like it was going to be really difficult. I was debating right here whether I wanted to swap to Ray of Hope. I was going back and forth. I was like, well, I can use Shadow Word Death on the Hunter's traps. I can, use Divine Ascension if he goes for like a trap on the fly or something like that. So I was like, I'll just keep Divine Ascension. And the monk hadn't been kicking me, but I was also thinking about that too. I was like, well, what if the monk decides he wants to play in my face and try and play aggressive? So I ended up keeping it. I don't know if it's the correct play. He does root me here, and I know he's going for the trap, so I do death right here, and I death the trap, and then he just starts hitting me, which I thought was really funny. It was just a kind of a funny little moment. And I decided to go Guardian form like really early just to get it kind of on cooldown, and so I don't waste any mana on their opener here. And you can also dispel in Guardian form, and you don't get the penalty for dispelling all the Warlock's dots, which is pretty good. You don't have to worry about unstable affliction and stuff like that. So I do get trapped and stunned and big overlap, and it broke that time, which was really, really bad for them. I used Guardian here, and we're still kind of behind, which is crazy. I thought we were going to get the kill right here because I mind games him, and then I start dispelling, and he's just really, really low. But it looks like he's actually going to live for a few more seconds, so I fly up in the air to range his kick, and it does look like they stabilize for a second, but now the warrior's way over there, so that was a misplay on my part. I probably shouldn't have flown up in the air. The warlock did the right thing by going around the corner. I'm in-capped, and he's going for the stun. I'm like, I'm gonna trinket this trap if it's a full trap, but it wasn't. It was a DR trap, so I decided to hold my trinket, and we're starting to get a little bit of pressure back up, but we're even on mana, so I'm starting to get worried because they're splitting, and we're just all over the place. Like, one of them's on him, and this is something that I see a lot of healers do. Like, don't be afraid to fear the DPS. Like, I just got the Hunter's Trinket. Like, fear would have been useless later. I do swap here, but like, don't be afraid to like use your CC on the DPS. Like, it doesn't always have to go on the healer, and you don't have to fly across the map to try and get CC on the enemy healer. Like, just let the enemy healer come to you a lot of times. Like, do your job and just heal, you know, the DPS. Like, right here, everybody's like really low. I do trinket that stun, and I'm just trying to top everybody. He does interrupt me in the air, which was crazy because that means he had to be right under me, and I can't mind games. It's like everything's getting sketchy. Everybody's low. I'm just using everything I can. So I use Desperate Prayer there, and then Guardian Form does come back up because I used it so early, and the Hunter does go down because, again, we were in such deep dampening. But that was probably the most intense one, and I made a lot of mistakes in that one. Like, I definitely didn't play that round like perfectly. It just a lot of stuff I think I would have done differently. I think deathing the trap was the only good thing that I did that round. But like I said, just pay attention to how the monk plays in terms of like how he's gonna fly across the map, and I'm just gonna end up chastising him and fearing him. Like, I think at one point I do decide to chase him, and again, that's just that's a misplay on my part. Like, that's really goofy for you to do that as a healer. Like, your main job is to keep everybody alive, and they will win eventually, especially with dampening this high. Like, you will eventually win as long as you're keeping your people alive, your DPS, and again, the enemy healers will just come to you. So right here, I'm just trying to avoid trap. That's why I was standing on the warlock. I do get hodged. I'm thinking, oh, he's going to trap off the hodge, and he ends up not trapping off the hodge. So I give power infusion to the warlock, hoping he gets some pressure out, and I'm just trying to keep everybody topped. I know I'm about to get silenced, and the Say Your Prayers build is actually really good for this, especially when there's double melee or you're gonna stand near someone. I do get trapped here. I thought it was gonna break for some reason, but it didn't, and blind. So they get a good CC chain here, but they just don't have any pressure, which was a little bizarre. The warlock did a pretty good job of kiting, and really nobody's getting any kind of pressure. So I'm gonna mind games on the paladin. I'm gonna start trying to do a little bit of damage, just seeing if we can get any kind of pressure. I am off DR, and so they do. That was a full trap, and I did trinket there, but nobody was in trouble. So honestly, I think that was a really bad trinket. I think I could have just held. I keep trying to keep everybody topped, and I don't know. I just think that was a bad trinket all around, because I'm gonna wish that I had it here in a little bit. So right here, I think this is okay because I didn't have to run all the way across the map to get the Mistweaver. I do get his trinket, which was okay. Again, just trying to keep everybody topped. We're winning the mana battle, so I'm paying attention to like what the Mistweaver's mana is this whole time, and I'm trying to think, okay, what cooldowns do I have left? I have Void Shift left. I have Apotheosis, which I do go ahead and use because, again, I want to keep winning the mana war. I also have I have 1 mana cooldown left, and the Mistweaver just goes down from nothing. I guess he didn't have anything left there. So that was I don't know, a weaker round. And I knew, like, once I had won the Warrior Ret Paladin, like once I won the one where they were on my team, I knew it was just gonna be downhill from there. I think this comp should be difficult for us because they should just go like Rambo into the Warlock. So we'll see what they do on this one. I honestly don't remember this last match. I just remember thinking, oh, it's 5-0, like this will be, you know, decent, like with the rating. But you'll see here at the end, like even though it's 1900 MMR or whatever, you'll see how little rating I actually get, even though I'm not, like, I haven't done any solo shuffles on my Holy Priest. So you're gonna see just how little I get. It looks like they want me at the beginning, but then he traps me. So it was a good little fake out, honestly. And the Warlock's lagging really hard here. And I'm like, oh no, port, please. Like, you know, don't die right here in the opener. The Ret Paladin does bop him, which was really good. Like, I didn't have to waste Guardian. I didn't have to waste anything. They silenced me there. That was perfect for us. Like, the Ret Paladin using bop there, like, saved all my major cooldowns. Right here, I'm going to fly up in the air. Again, Divine Ascension, such a powerful PvP talent. Like, you need to take this versus melee teams. I know Ray of Hope's also really good, but in solo shuffle, like, Divine Ascension can be amazing. So right here, the Mistweaver dispels, he gets silenced, and then it's just we go in for the kill. And that's the 6-0. But you'll see here how much lower my matchmaking value is than the actual matchmaking average of this match. And even going 6-0, I still only got like 68 points, which is just, it's not a good system. I don't know. Blizzard needs to take into account the average MMR of the entire match. This is why a lot of healers aren't wanting to queue solo shuffle right now. Hopefully it gets fixed in the future. Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy the solo shuffle commentary, what you want to see on the Holy Paladin, all that stuff. And yeah, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.